The hive that we put the package in, there's a lot of bees on the front of the hive that we put the package in over there. They're trying to rob the hive. We have a sense that these hives, this one and the two small ones on the other side, are hungry. And what you're seeing is robbing. Not normal, but happens on occasion. Bees are looking for whatever. So we covered that off. If you walk around and look at the front of it now, we've taped it all off so that they can defend it. So these bees are pretty frantic right now, but for the most part, we're like a tree to them. They may land on you, don't swat, don't pinch. Be careful when you touch yourself if you have a bee on your face. And you shouldn't get stung. Has anybody been stung yet? No. Crazy, isn't it? You're standing in amongst 1,000 bees flying around. You wouldn't think it. Anybody would come in here for the first time, is like, man, look what I did. I want to talk about the smoker. You know when Bob lit this? When we started the day. Has anybody ever lit a smoker and said, damn, this thing won't stay lit?
Yeah, what do you do? What's the secret?
Am I good? Here's the deal. Take a piece of paper, towel, something, light it on fire, put it in the smoker. We're using pine needles. Take a handful of loose pine needles and sprinkle them in. Fire. Puff, fire. I want to see flames coming out of the top. Fire, fire. I'm going to take another pinch and I'm going to put it in. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Fire coming out. What I'm doing is I'm creating embers for the bottom. I'm burning this stuff so that when I pack it down, there's burnt embers, almost like charcoal, in the bottom of the smoker. Okay? I'm going to take another pinch and I'm going to put it in. Boom, boom, boom. Flames. What you're going to want to do at some point, if you've used your hive tool, is put it in there with it and flame it. You're going to burn anything bad that's on your hive tool off. First thing I did when Bob was lighting the smoker, my hive tool from home has never been in this yard. I burned it off. If you don't use a smoker, stick it in the ground and just keep digging around until the dirt scrapes off whatever. Be hygienic. If you're scraping comb off or doing any of that stuff, don't throw it on the ground. Collect a little baggie and put it in. Okay? If you've got dead bees and you're going to shake them out, don't shake them out in your yard. Take them down there a long ways. Keep your yard hygienic. I've cleaned my smoker off. Now I'm back to lighting my smoker. Now I'm going to take a handful, small baseball size, and I'm going to put it in there. And I'm going to tap it down with my smoker because I got flames, so I'm not using my hands. I'm going to tap it down and I'm going to give a little. And if I got good smoke coming like this, now I'm going to start packing the thing. And I mean packing it. Now I don't know how many hives you're going to go in. We're going to go in a bunch, so we pack this thing all the way to the top. What will happen is the stuff that burned in the beginning will get compacted in the bottom and be like charcoal. And then it'll just slowly burn all the way up through the pack stack and you'll keep smoking. This thing's been lit for an hour and a half. When you light your smoker and you want to put it down, a couple things. This is so you can hang it on the hive, but you just set it down on its side. Set it down on its side. It prevents the thing from burning straight through. And then and it'll keep lit. And then when you want to use it, you take it up. Now when you have it done and you're ready to leave, you can put it, Bob carries a pail, metal pail, and he puts it in. I don't know if you want to drive home with this in the back of your truck or your car, your choice. All right. We have not seen what's in this hive, but I'm going to make a prediction. There's a lot of bees in it. This is a hive that came over winter. It's got a honey box on top. So it overwintered with a full medium. It's heavy. I carried it in here with Bob, so I know it's heavy. So I suspect we got a honey box in the top. The brood chamber is going to be in the second box in the stack, the top deep, and it could potentially be pushing down into the bottom. We'll find out. We're going to look at it and then we're going to decide what to do with it. If it's as packed as we think it is, don't want them on my eyes, don't want them in my nose, don't like them in my ears. Hey, you get a bee crawling in your ear, go take care of it because they only go one way, in. We'll do a split possibly if this hive is so crowded, or we'll give it more resources. So you asked earlier, what do you do? If your box is full, frames after frames of brood, capped brood, which I'll show you what that means for those of you who don't know what it is, you're going to want to relieve the congestion or your hive is going to be in a tree. Okay? I'm going to smoke my hive. I like to work my hive from the side. You can't do it here because it's on a rail. My recommendation, I brought one of my stands here. I have different kinds. I like my hive on a single stand. And I always work it from the back and the left side. Here you have to work it the way you work it because it's on a rail. I'm putting a little smoke in the entrance. And I'm going to count. I'm going to do something really funny. It's the beginning of the day. I'm coming from the house and I'm walking up to the hive. I'm going to walk in front of the hive and I'm going to present myself to the hive. I would recommend that you think about putting a stick in the yard with a flag and let that flag move. The reason you want to do that is bees come into movement. And so if there's nothing moving in their field of view but you, and they need a trigger to have a response, you could potentially incite them to be responsive and have some sort of alarm. 99% of the time, not the case. But I like to present myself to the bees. The other thing I like to do before I go do anything is I want to look at what's going on at the entrance. How much is it coming and going? What's going in? Is there fighting going on at the entrance? That's the type of thing I'm looking for, okay? I have a chair sitting right where yours is, and I come in and sometimes I park myself for 5-10 minutes and I watch what's going on before I do anything. How many are using rails like this where a couple hives are sitting on your rails? Raise your hands. Before you go in any of your hives, we didn't do it today, smoke each one of them. Because bad news travels. If I'm banging over here, they're feeling it down there. And if you haven't smoked them yet and they set off the alarm, you could potentially get stung. You don't want to get stung. So I'm going to literally follow that edict. Even though we've violated it 10 ways to Sunday, I'm going to put a little smoke in here. Now I'm ready to go in this hive. I've smoked them. When I smoke them, and you can't hear it here because there's too much activity, but sometimes you'll hear what you hear, an audible buzz. Bzzz. That's them clearing out the smoke and also signaling to each other. I'm going to go in to my hive. I'm going to pop the lid up and I'm going to give a puff or two of smoke and I'm going to let it go for a second.
Do you ever wear protective equipment?
Yes, I do. I do. It's hard for me to wear a veil and do whatever and talk to you here, but a lot of times, what do we say, Bob? A responsible beekeeper wears a veil.
That's what you say.
Yeah.
I do recommend you wear a veil, and a lot of times, watch my videos. I shoot a lot of video.
How many times you get stuck?
I don't want to eat that bee. There's one really cool one where a bee goes in my mouth and you see me spit it out. That's a good one to watch. Yeah, you know, look, I work in corporate America, and when I get stung and look like somebody punched me in the face, that's not good eats, right? So when I go out and I know I got to go to work and give big presentations, a lot of times I wear a veil, at minimum. I brought them. So now I'm just looking at what's going on. This is not typical. You might see 1 or 2 bees emerge, but there's a lot going on here. I'm going to step behind it again. Now what did I do with my smoker? 2 or 3 little puffs in the hole. If somebody's peeking at me through the hole, now what I don't recommend you do is lean over your hive until you put some smoke in it. Okay? Now I'm going to go take the top cover off. Inner cover. I want you to listen. Listen. Do you hear that? Sounds like Velcro tearing. Bees don't like that. It's unavoidable. But when it happens, know that you may have caused alarm. So I'm just going to take a little smoke. 2 or 3 little puffs. Okay? Yeah. Who got stung, Sharon? My wife got stung. Listen, if you get stung, don't pinch, scrape. Scrape the stinger out. If you pinch, you're squeezing the venom sacs and you're injecting yourself. See how slow I moved? Slow. Now I've got bees on here. No, I don't, but typically you will. What I like to do is I like to take my inner cover and set it right against the front entrance. If anybody's on there, they get to walk right back into the hive. Now what I see here, first I'm going to count the frames because I don't know. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 frames in this hive. I knew that already. You know how I know? Because they built comb along the outside edge over here. And all the frames are this way against the box. Some people like to have 9 frames in a box because they want to have room where they don't smash bees. When there's 10, sometimes they're really tight in there. I like to have mine centered between the walls. These are all pushed over, so they built comb all along the outside edge. I want my smoker back before I... Everybody come on over here and just take a look at the hive. And look at the comb that I just told you about. See it? We call that burr comb. It's a violation of bee space. If it's more than a certain distance, they will build comb in it. One of the main reasons is they can't walk to the outside thing, so they create walkways. Just got pooped on. Everybody see it? So now I see bees in here. What I don't see is all of them lined up looking at me. Sometimes you see eyes looking at you. If you do, just a little puff across the top, okay? Now I'm gonna go after this last frame. When you go get a frame, if I'm looking, you know what? Can you hand me the inner cover, please? I'm going to cover them off while I'm talking about this. This just keeps them in the box. I have my frame situated in the box. The one on the outside is against hard wood, right? This frame is against hard wood here. If I pull that frame first and I'm pulling it out, bees on that side that get pinched between wonky comb or a little uneven comb and the outside gets smashed and rolled. When they get smashed and rolled, they release alarm pheromone. Not good for you. If I take the second one, I'm wax on wax and they roll a little easier. They're not getting smashed. So my recommendation when you take a frame out is you slide the first one as close as you can to the outside edge of the box and get the second one. So I'm going to follow that. And what I've done here is I put my inner cover back on and I'm covering the frames I'm not working on. That way nobody's coming out. So I have a little work to do here for a second. I need to clean some of this wonky comb out so that I can move this box, this frame. Usually what they do is they're using it as a bridge. That's why they built it. They can't reach the outside and they want to be able to walk down the box, so they built this there. I'm just going to clean it up. We got to clean it up eventually. They could put honey on the outside, and I want to try not to dig into it. Actually, I just did. Because then I'm going to have honey running inside the box, and I don't really want that. So I'm trying not to go get crazy about what I'm getting. Plus, I don't like honey on my Hive tool. It's unavoidable. If anybody's uncomfortable and you need a veil or a jacket, there's a couple laying over there on the ground. There is. I will, yeah. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going after these frames. Where do the frames attached to the box? On the ears and between each other. Sometimes they build between the frames, but most of the time they don't. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to take my Hive tool and I want to separate the shoulders. I'm going to go down between them on both sides. And then I should be able to free that box up. When I want to move them, I'm using the blade side and I'm turning it sideways to spread. Okay? If I'm in here and I'm trying to pry a frame up, I'm digging into the wax. I don't want to do that. So I could take it this way and go up, or I can work on the ear. But what I've done here is I've just gone down between the shoulders so I can get that frame out. That's 90% of the battle. Now, sometimes I'm going to take my fingers and I'm going to reach down in here and there's bees all over the place. The worst stings of a beekeeper is on your fingertips. Hate that, right? So I'm going to take my trusty smoker. I'm not gassing a hive, right? I don't want to keep smoking and smoking and smoking, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to give a little puff down here and a little puff down here. All the bees that are at the ears are going to go down, and I won't be pinching bees with my fingers, and I'm not going to get stung. Now this thing is wedged in here. I'm just going to gently pull it out. If I feel resistance, I'm going to wait till it yields, and then I'm just going to slowly draw it up and see what I got. There we go. So I have nectar and pollen. What did I tell you before? How do I look at a frame? I'm going to turn my back to you.
This is the honey over here.
Yep. So here's what I got. I'm going to hand this frame out. Just hold it by the ears. Don't worry if a bee gets on you. You're just another part of comb for them. You're going to see nectar stored in the cell. It looks like glass down in. You're going to see pollen in here. It's yellow looking. You're going to see this is honey stored up in the corner, and it's capped with wax. And you're going to see a lot of pollen, and then you'll see some bullet-shaped drone brood on there. So I'll hand this around. And where do they build the drone brood? Along the bottom of the frame. So if you want to just hand that around to everybody. So the first thing you're going to see there is you're going to see nectar and pollen stored. You're going to see honey capped up in the top, and it's primarily worker bees. Now where am I in the box? Am I in the middle or the outside? Honey gets stored at the outside perimeter. Brood chamber is in the middle. Should we expect to see brood in this box in the top? Not normally, but this box just came out of winter and they go up. So it is possible that I'm going to have brood all the way up to the under the inner cover at this time of year.
What do you do with the brood?
You let it be and it'll hatch out, and then you let them, or you take this off, by the way, and can make an all medium hive, which is a lot lighter. So guess what I got in here? I got brood. Okay? So here what I'm going to show you is you're going to see this frame has emerging brood. You may even see bees coming out with their antenna picking up. What you're going to see here is something that looks like a paper bag covering. There's brood underneath, meaning bees that are growing. You're going to see that a typical frame has a rainbow of brood with honey stored up in the corners and pollen stored around the outside edge of the brood. I'll get to you in a sec. This is already emerging because most of the brood is missing. So I'll hand this around and you look at it. Now I want you to look at the frame, at the bees. Occasionally you're going to see one that's a lot bigger than the other ones. It's a drone. It's a boy. How do I know the drone from the girls? Look at the eyes. It has a stout body and it has big eyes. Why does it have big eyes? To find the queen when it mates. So when you look on this, there are occasionally a couple drones. See if you could pick them out. You had a question over here.
Oh yeah, if you have brood up on the top, like this is at the end of winter and early spring,
Yeah,
would you ever switch the boxes if there's not a lot down the bottom?
you would. And we'll talk about that. Yep. Yeah, so I don't want to talk about that now. That's a reversal. You're going to take the brood and put it in the bottom because they've moved up and the bottom box is empty. I just said the common lore is bees move up. So I would put the brood boxes in the bottom and put the empty boxes, and then all of a sudden, listen, if you're in your house with your kids and the house is crowded, you need a bigger house. But if I built you a new floor upstairs that was open, you'd think you're in the good life. That's what happens, right? We take all the bees that are up crowded in the top, we put them in the bottom, and we give them a brand new upstairs, and they go, this is great. I got all the room I need to work with. So I'm going to hand this one around. There's brood on both sides.
What does it look like?
See the paper towel stuff?
Okay.
That's
and the lighter
brood.
stuff on the other side is also brood?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Look, do you see this stuff here, the covering? That's brood. That's what I'm talking about. It's bees that are covered that have not emerged yet. Go ahead and hand that around. There's a drone right there.
Trying to get his
You know what's
attention.
neat about the drones?
No, come on.
You can pick them up.
They
I
won't
missed
bother
them.
you.
Drones don't sting. Bob, you want to take a look at what we got?
Yeah, actually, you want to give
It's-
me a frame so I can take it around too?
Sure.
That thing is busting with bees.
It's busting.
We should
and
split
it's,
it.
And it's up in the
I
top.
wonder if we have any queen cells down below.
I have to wonder too.
Yeah, we probably do. Because it's full right to
So
the top.
we're gonna have a couple frames to walk around, so you don't have to.
That drone.
I saw some queen cups on the bottom too, but I.
Oh, there's a queen cup.
Ouch.
See if it has a larva in it.
I didn't see any.
No, there's no larva in this one.
So we're gonna pass a couple frames
You
around
wanna
so we
show
make
the
this a
queen
little
cup
quicker.
In the middle, there's no larva in it yet. Okay.
Yeah. It could be, or it could be. They're literally working right now.
So the brood could be on any of the frames.
You got me.
I'm studying this topic. Kevin, does it make sense to take the whole thing apart at this point? Doesn't it make more sense
I'm
to
just-
leave them alone?
It does, but I have to show people what's in it. So that's why we're trying to give some things so that more people can see what's going on.
The thing on the bottom, that's just drone brood, right?
That's
That's not a queen.
this is drone brood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the drone.
Yeah. Haven't seen the queen, looking for her. Where there's brood, you will find the queen most times. But the thing is, the queen could be anywhere in the hive. The queen could be anywhere. There's a lot of bees in here. This hive needs to be split. Yeah. We're going to. It's right at the cusp of being able to split bees right now. A reversal would be the more legitimate action, unless, like this one, look, this frame is absolutely full. And if we find this all the way through, they need some intervention. That's
She might be in here.
that's the broken off they built comb from the bottom to the top. Some of it has honey, and as soon as I break it off, they're all eating it. So I'm going to show you a honey frame.
I want to eat it.
Yeah, this box has good resources.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. Look at that. Both sides, by the way.
Oh my God.
And the next frame looks exactly like it.
The outside one. Look at the color.
I want you to feel the weight of this if you get a chance to hold it. A full-size honey box weighs 60 to 80 pounds. They're 10 to 12 pounds a frame on a full size. So capped honey all the way through. Okay.
Let me give it a little smoke.
So there's a lot of bees in here, and they may or may not be able to find the queen. We'll see. But this thing's ready to go. This is one of the hives that Stan would have taken to pollination. That's its purpose. Is there a spare cover over there? Stan Wazatowski is S&F Honey Farms. This is one of his. Yeah.
Is there fruit on that?
There's a drone emerging.
Everybody see pollen? See the pollen?
This here?
That stuff is pollen. See, the nectar is the shiny glassy looking, and this is capped honey. Did everybody see drone brood? The bullets?
Yes.
They're usually along the bottom? Yes. The ones that stick out are drone.
These here.
Yes, correct. Drones are the boys. There's one other thing. There's one other thing that you'll see on some of these that I didn't call out yet. You'll find a cell at the bottom that looks different than all the others.
I got one right here.
Right here.
It's a queen cup
And it's open.
On the bottom right
right there.
there. There's no,
On this side there.
and there's no larvae in the
And so in preparation for creating queens, you will see them sometimes create cups. And when they start a queen, it looks like Mr. Peanut Shell. Right now, we're looking at all these. There's nothing in them.
This is open.
If you saw liquid and a egg or larvae, you'd know that they're in the process of building a queen.
Where's the queen cup?
Um,
Which one had the queen?
can you show them the queen cup, Bob?
This is a full frame of honey if you want to show
Yeah, we did already.
you. Did.
Yeah. Bob, if you have some water, I just need something to wash my hive tool off. Bob, do you want to leave the feeder in here?
There's a feeder in there?
Yeah,
No, I don't think it needs it. Unless we
I don't think so either.
Probably they're glued in pretty well.
They are. They're really propolized. Seeing a queen cup is not a problem. That's a great question. No,
That's
queen
actually
cups
good.
are normal. They're okay. Sometimes they practice for no reason. Doesn't mean your hive is going to swarm.
I'm just looking for the queen.
I'm going to see if I can get this out of here, but this is a... Yeah, that's what I thought. I don't want to break it.
Boy, it's really in there. Take this one.
I got it.
Oh, you got it?
I got it.
Look at all those baby bees.
Okay, we'll find something.
Take this out.
Does it have liquid in it?
No, it's dry.
Look at the size of it, man. They really broke that out.
Do you have to be concerned at all with how long you have your
Hive open?
and you're working it?
You do. Yes. Yeah, you really don't want to leave them open for a long time. Today it's warm enough. It's just warm enough. You
The
want?
sun is warm.
I'll talk about that,
Okay.
and so I could keep going. Bob, give me direction on this.
water
Do we
right
want to
here.
split it right now?
Well, did we look for queen cells in those 2 boxes?
I didn't. You want me to tear these down then?
Well, we should go in and look for queen. Kevin,
you just
show them
wanna
how you just lift it up and look for queen cells on the bottom.
Do you want to
right?
just do a split though right away, or that's where we're going? I want to know what you think.
No, I'll do it after. If we want to do it, I think we'll do it after everybody's
Okay.
done.
My hive tool's all covered with honey.
Oh,
My
look at that
fingers are
nectar on
sticking. I'm
there.
trying to. Here,
So-
I'll take it.
So this is nectar. See the liquid in there?
See it? Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they gather nectar from the flowers.
Yes.
Nectar's about 80% water.
Okay.
Honey is 17% water. So
Yep.
what they do is they'll fan their wings over this in the hive until it evaporates, and then they'll cap it over.
We're going to split
you ever
this
see
hive, but
capped
not right
honey?
now.
There's a
We're
great
going to do
frame over
inspections
here.
on the other 2. What I'm going to show you though is we don't know yet whether they're prepping to swarm. Why would I think this box might swarm? It's because it's full. And there's no more place for them to do anything. You saw the top box, which is at the top of the stack. Every frame is full of something. There's no open space. And it's completely loaded with bees. And it's completely loaded with brood. Now I want you to picture this. I always say this, and it's a neat analogy. You're all standing here. If I packed you all together standing straight up, just like they are inside the comb, ready to come out, and I let you all out and I say, now lay down. Think of how much ground you cover. When all these bees emerge, the box is already crowded and they're in a horizontal state on the face of the comb. There is no room for anybody to move around and somebody's got to go. So crowding can be a swarming indicator. And so because this box is so full of resources and bees, they may already be there. What I want to know is, are they building queens? That's probably the most important thing for me to find out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break this box up, but I'm not going to dig through it. I'm going to peek at the bottom, because where do bees build queen cells? At the bottom of the frames. Okay? My guess is yes, there's brood all the way through. If there's brood in the top and I could see the evidence of brood as I look down through, yes. Then we would do a split. Yep. We will go in the other ones, and then later today we'll do a split and set it up. We got to get some stuff prepped. Here's what I'm going to do before I do it. I'm breaking the seal between the boxes. And I'm going to tilt the box up. I'm going to tilt it. You guys won't see it. I will, from underneath. Maybe I'll tilt it that way, okay? Either all you go ahead. No. I'll tilt it both ways for everybody. But what I'm looking for is I'm looking for Mr. Peanut hanging off the bottom. I want to see whether or not I have a queen cell hanging off the bottom. Queen cups, if I see any, I want to look in the bottom of the queen cup and see if there's anything in it. Just because Mr. Peanut isn't there doesn't mean they're building queens. They could potentially be. So I'm going to tilt this box right now. If I can. Oops. What was that? Sugar. They have really glued them together. It is possible, but not likely. Nope, it's not empty.
It's full on the bottom too?
It is full. Okay. Bad, bad, bad. Don't leave these in your hive.
Yes.
Don't do that. This is a miticide treatment. Stan goes away for winter, and unfortunately he didn't get to them apparently. There's a, yeah, so, okay. But I can't see because I don't have the light. Remember, I want the light. No, I'm gonna just turn it. I'm gonna turn it this way. Everybody see the queen cups on the bottom? Yep, I'll get that. Let me see. Can you go grab one of those boxes over there for me?
Where is it?
An empty, yeah. Hold on, I'll tell you.
Oh, I see it.
Can somebody move that right there? And let's put that box
This thing here?
on its long end over here on the shelf, over here to my right. Set it on there.
Just like this?
Nope, long way. That's it. Perfect. Somebody got squished. Okay. What I see here on the top, this stuff is called burr comb. That's the name of it. It's just comb that they build from the top of a frame to the bottom of a frame so that they can walk from one box to the other. Okay? Now inside this box, and I'll have you all walk up, you're going to see little cells that are open. They're called queen cups. Come up and take a look at them, and somebody tell me if there's anything in them. My suspicion is they're all empty, but you can look. Go ahead and circle through. I put the box up so you can see it. And I'll clean this while you guys are working on it.
Kevin, you're on the very edge of that last row.
Yeah, I see it. Everybody see queen cups? So in a couple weeks, if we don't do anything, it is possible that they will become real queens. I am going to save it.
What is in there, those white?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
At what stage can you not tip the queen? When she's in
Yeah, I mean, you want to be careful about messing with your queens when she's in her final development stage. Once they get her capped off, you really don't want to. Yeah.
Now, Kevin, if these cups, they don't appear to have anything in them, you still do just cups.
If again the hive is completely full, they are going to use them eventually, right? Queen cups don't mean swarm, but when everything else adds up to swarm and queen cups are present, it could potentially lead you to swarm.
I have a question. If you do a split but can't find the
Yeah, it is. I'll answer. Let me just say this. I'm gonna do one quick look here because I want to close the box back up, and then I'll answer the split question, and then we'll take another quick break and we'll go get in the other ones. I'm gonna pull a couple frames from the bottom here, and just see what I got. Does feel empty.
Yeah, look at that.
Lots of pollen. In fact, I see bees with pollen walking on the frame, which makes sense, right? Because they're coming in the front entrance.
This is the pollen you see over
Yeah,
here.
see it? And it's up in the top. You want to take that?
And what's that little area right there?
That's just this space where they decided not to build something. It's their box. They do it the way they want. Now this bottom box is empty pretty much. I mean, it's got resources in it, but I don't see brood yet. So I would switch. This box is completely set up to do a possible reversal. Right? We'll put the brood in the bottom and put the empty box in the top. I could take it. I don't have to take these all apart. You're correct. I could just pick this up and go. There's nothing in this box.
Particular case with another medium,
I have to worry that the queen is somewhere. She's in anywhere. She could literally be on this frame that I'm in right here. I would put this one on the top, and it's not normal to have a medium going in a winter, right? Where's Bob? Bob, this bottom box is nothing but drawn comb. So I'm gonna put the deep on the bottom. Do you want to put the medium on top of that? If there was brood in the bottom box, I'm going to give him more space. Here, I'll take that. No, I wouldn't switch. Wait, let me answer that in a second. I'm going to talk about a couple conditions. Yeah, go ahead. Just trying to free this up so I can get him centered. Just bear with me while I do a little maintenance here. I'll be with you all in a second. This thing is really welded. Alright, I'm not gonna fuss with it. Let's take this off. See if you can pop that bottom board off for me. My Hive tool's in my hand if you need it. That's okay. Bob, you want me to put the medium on next in the middle?
I don't think so.
It's got brood in it. We're going to split the brood in half.
But I want it to stop. There's brood in this one. Or no, there's no brood
No.
in this one. Oh yeah, I would put my foot. Wait, you're right. Sorry.
Okay.
I forgot it
Here,
was
you take this and I'll take
Yeah,
the left.
I'm sorry. I forgot it was
Yeah.
this one. Yeah. Pretty heavy though. There's got to be a lot of honey.
Okay, go ahead and take that lid off. I'm missing a frame there.
Yeah, they don't lose their stick.
I'm missing a frame, Bob. Somewhere. That's a small one. Here. Go ahead.
Big guy, right?
How many frames do you have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Bob, you want 10 frames in these or?
Yeah.
Take the Hive tool. Man, this thing hasn't been opened in a long time. It's wedged.
Can you fit 10 frames in there?
Yeah, but I gotta do maintenance here because these are welded in place but apart. Last one's gonna be a bitch. There you go. I have to free the boxes up so that I can get the frames correctly spaced. That's what I'm doing right now.
On a day like this,
Yeah.
how much longer would you be able to keep the hive open?
You typically are going to keep it open for this type of activity for whatever you need to do. It's not a detriment. If it's 70 plus degrees, you'll be okay. If it's 60 or lower, you're going to be more careful. And typically, this is not normal. You generally don't have to do this intrusive of a situation.
Minimum temperature is 60, right? You don't want to do it much
Yeah, and I would not. If it's 60 degrees, I would do part of it and put it away and come back the next day and do the rest of it. And, smoker, please. Thank you.
10 frames will cut down on the
Encouraging
bird.
them to go down, right?
And it'll encourage them to go down, and it also gets them off this edge, which is where I don't want to smash piece when I put this next box on. So watch this, watch. I'm gonna set the front edge of the box on. There's no bees up here. I'm gonna set the box down. If I set it straight down, I'm gonna crush bees. What I like to do is I like to just lower it slowly. I should not hear crunching. And then I let it down. Wait. When I'm looking at this bee and I want to do, if I put a little pressure, it goes away. So all I'm doing is saying, I'm coming, get out of my way. Other things that I see people do is put it down and they slide. That's that same flick versus push. You're scraping the bees. I don't like that idea. Some people put it on and they twist it. If you take your time when you twist it and let the bees get out of the way, but you're ripping legs off and other stuff. I like that little pressure thing. I almost never crush any bees. If you keep opening your hives and you see flattened bees on your thing, you're doing something wrong. That's your sign. I'm gonna put this back and then I'll explain to you why. Yeah, just give it a little. I think I'm okay. Do I have any?
No, there's a lot on there.
I'm okay if they're on the top. I just don't want them here.
Excuse me. Step back a little bit.
Here, I'm going to do my technique, you know. They don't ever get up my legs?
So you have to run on the top.
Okay.
You would start with
I'll
3
line 'em up.
mediums.
Yeah.
Instead of one.
Well, so yeah. So 2 deeps is your typical brood chamber.
Okay.
Some people run 3, but 2 is kind of the classic way to do it. So if you're going to start a hive, you want 3
And we,
mediums ultimately.
can you
Now,
give me a
wouldn't start right
foundation
away
frame?
with 3. You probably start
Over
with
here,
2.
somebody.
Start with 2.
And yeah, because you think about
foundation back
beekeeping
there.
and bees is
One
you gotta kinda
with
right
foundation
size
in
the
it,
hive for
please.
them. If you give them too
To
much
be more
space,
precise.
they don't really.
I did not, but I didn't go looking for it. Look, I'd like to find the queen, but I don't think I really want to find the queen in this. When we go in the smaller ones, we'll find you a queen.
Was there a lot of more foundation in the bottom one, or did you go into it?
I was in the bottom one, and what I saw is all empty.
Oh, all empty?
It's empty. And this is
that
now
on the top?
this is now on the top.
Will you eventually take that medium one?
Out of that rotation, yeah, I will. Yeah, look, I'll go through ideas in a second here. I'm just trying to get things closed up, so forgive me. One thing I wanted to say about this while I'm working on it is I've worked on all these frames. I don't have to slide them one at a time. I can go to like the 5th frame and slide them. Sometimes you want to clean these rails out while you have them so you don't have the propolis. If you want to come on up and just look and see. See all this gunk on the outside edge? It's bee glue, propolis. Come on up and take a look at it. They glue the frames together. And it makes if you don't go in your hives that much, like these hives are probably not intruded very much, you're going to see this propolis. What I had to do is cut all the propolis. One of the things I do every time I take a frame out, religiously, is I scrape the shoulder off. Because what happens is they end up building propolis on the shoulders, and then the frames where they touch get spread farther and farther apart. And it makes it harder and harder to get the frames out of the box. If you keep the shoulders clean, it's so much easier to work in your hive. These shoulders are mucked up really bad. So you'll see, I have no room. Wait, let me give you an example. Well, actually, I just cut it off. Look at the shoulder here. See it? See what's on my hive tool? That was on the other side. That frame is not going to lay the same way with the other frame. So I can't get this frame in. The thing is so tight. So I'm going to scrape that shoulder off now. I shouldn't let it fall on the ground. I always have a plastic bag and I put my stuff in there. I have a Ziploc bag and I collect this stuff.
Why does that only have 9 frames in it?
That's the way the beekeeper ran it, with 9 frames. And the 9 frame situation is so that you have more room to work around with the hives, right?
In the winter or?
At any time. Look, if I want to, now I got an extra space, so if I want to work, I can keep moving them and I'm not crushing bees.
Are you putting 10 frames in?
I'm putting 10 frames. Bob wants 10 frames and Bob rules the roost here, so. I put it in a bag and then I freeze it and grind it up, and you make propolis powder, and you can mix it in honey and make tinctures and other things with it. So Bob will have to come in later and clean these up. But again, look, we've been pretty intrusive to this, so. Where's the, okay.
And if you had the 9 frames, you would just even them out.
You would evenly space them out and make sure you have them centered. Now there's 2 ways. Wait, let me answer that question. You have 9 frames. Do you keep them tight together or do you space them across the space of the thing? It's your preference. I like to keep them tight together, and I run 9 in mine, just like this beekeeper does. But I keep them centered in there so they don't build wonky comb between the last one. The reason is it maintains bee space. If you leave them spread out, they build the face of the comb out farther so that they keep the right space between all the frames. And then if you're interchanging things with other hives, it becomes a problem. If everything's all pushed together tight, then you can not have a difficulty if you run your hives differently. All right, let's talk about what happened here now that things are calmed down. The box on the top was the box on the bottom board. So here's what we discovered. The bottom box was in the middle and the honey box was on the top. In the winter time, this probably had 2 boxes of brood, the 2 deeps, and the honey box was on top. The population in the middle box moved up and then eventually into the honey dome into spring, and they ate all the food, and now the brood box was in the top 2 boxes. That's normal. That happens all the time. Especially when it's cold, 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 and then you get a warm spring and they've already started, okay? Do I have to split this hive? I really probably don't, because I have a full box here of pretty much open brood, and now they'll end up using it all. If I made no changes, if bees can't build up, they will build down. I could have left this way. Now the funny thing is we have a medium in the middle of our brood chamber. What do we do about that? Let them build it out. So what? If I don't want that, what I'll do is wait until they get some brood in the top box, and they will, and then I'll put the top box on and I'll switch those 2, and then eventually when the brood comes back down, this box will get vacated and I could use it for what I want. I had a thought. Let me see if I can get there. What I didn't do, what I did not do, important. This had brood in it. So did this one. I think, well, medium honey boxes belong on top. I didn't split them. I didn't put the empty deep that was on the bottom in between them, because I do not want to divide the brood chamber. Bad form. Don't do that. How cold was it last night? 27. When it's below 45, they cluster together. So they're still clustering at night. Keep the brood together. If it gets to be 70 degrees every day and you want to switch that box and it's 55 at night, knock yourself out, but don't do it now. Keep the brood together. Now, talking about splits, queen's in here somewhere. If I wanted to split this hive, I could go through the top box and see if I find the queen. Let's pretend that the medium is not on here. Let's pretend I have brood in 2 boxes and it's full. Somebody here said they have that condition right now, right? Box is full of bees, tons of resources. I want to split the box. I have a deep and I have a deep. I go through the top deep and I make sure I have my queen or I don't have my queen in there. Everybody clear on that? I'm going to say no queen in there. If there is a queen, put her in the bottom box. And then I'm going to put a queen excluder in there. I want brood. I want brood in both boxes. Here's why. I'm going to do a split. I want an even amount of bees in both the top and the bottom box. If I have brood in the top, the workers are going to come up and cover it. They'll be with that box. And the brood in the bottom, the workers will go down and they'll be with that box. The queen's in the bottom. I put my queen excluder in and I take my top box after a day and I move it to my yard a couple miles away. I don't take it off and put it on the bench over here, because all the foragers that are in that box will fly right back to the mother hive. And they'll leave everybody chilled over here. There'll be cold nights in that hive. If I take the whole hive and I move it to my neighbors, beekeepers, we're doing a buddy system, and I put it over there, I'm good to go, because the foragers are going to stay with it. So will the nurse bees and so on. I could do that both ways. I could take the queen box and take it, or I could take the non-queen box and take it. Doesn't matter. Whichever one has a queen will have a queen. Whichever one doesn't have a queen will build a queen. How do they build a queen? What do they need? They need eggs.
to make a queen, right? So you have to make sure that you don't rush things, that you do this at the right time of the year, and that the box that you take without the queen does have eggs in it. Okay? But that's how you do a split.
And you ever go and get the one that you put 2 miles away
And bring it once they have a queen. Now listen, I could take that box, take it away, and instead of waiting for them to build me a queen, just put a queen in it. Let it get established, she gets laying, and then I bring her back.
box that has the queen 2 miles away. You have to wait long. How long do you have to wait till?
You could leave her for a little while until that hive gets established. Now here's the thing about this, right? A lot of people will tell you, here's the logic behind it, take the queen and make her go. Take the queen. The colony thinks that somebody is swarmed. Artificial split is what that's called. The colony thinks that a swarm has occurred. And the better part of the workforce is going to be at home. So they'll be more equipped to bring a new hive to fruition with a new queen. So the typical logic in this is send the queen packing. Send the queen out. Okay? But honestly, it doesn't matter. I think that's probably the better way. Bob and I were having this conversation the other day about this tactic, right?
And what about if you have one that has the queen cup?
If it has queen cups, if you find a hive that has queen cups, Mr. Peanut, you find 3 or 4 of them or whatever, same method, put the queen in the top, take the queen away, and just leave the queen cups there, and they'll emerge, and they'll take care of things for you. You're better off. They don't have to raise a queen. They were already on their way. It takes 16 days to raise a queen. Takes about another 16 days for the queen has to emerge, walk around a couple days, go out, find a drone congregation area, get mated, come back, mill around in the hive, practice a little bit, and start laying. So from the time that an egg is picked to be a queen to the time that the queen is laying eggs is generally 30 to 40 days if it's raining somewhere in the middle and she's delayed in getting out. So common rule of thumb is about 32 days.
What's the minimum distance? If you took one and you put it on the other side of this field, that's not
Yeah.
far enough.
That's not far enough. Typically they want you to take it, when they say you move a hive, you move it 3 feet or 3 miles. So 3 miles. Generally, people say 2 to 3 miles is the right answer. Ask 1,000 questions, you'll get 150,000 answers, right? So,
I think you have something on the fridge in here. I'm not sitting all the way down.
yeah. It just might be a... That's what it is. Okay. So Bob gets to decide what happens to this hive in time. We really didn't know what was in it or how it was. If we absolutely found all 3 boxes full, we would have split it today. But given that the bottom box is full, I think we're going to let it incubate a little bit more, and then we'll come back and split it some other time.